So, the face. Unless you've got some weird fetish that inspired you to start drawing, which, hey, I'm not here to judge, chances are the first thing you're going to learn to draw is the face. So immediately, you dive into YouTube and watch every beginner video you can find. And every single one of them mentions this, the Loomis Method. Now, before I get into the method that I used that actually helped me draw faces, first let me tell you why the Loomis method might not be the best option for beginners. You'll probably have come across this little collection of circles and lines. This is by far the most popular method used to draw faces, and it's advertised as this magical tool artists use that makes sure all their faces look right. And of course, you keep watching the video because hell yeah, all I have to do is learn this method and my face drawings are gonna go from looking like this to this? I mean, sign me up. But after the sales pitch is over, they'll start the lesson and say, all you have to do is start with a circle. Like clockwork, a meme will be inserted, a laugh track played, something to emphasize that it's actually pretty difficult for a beginner to draw a circle. Not only that, but once you've tackled the obstacle of drawing one circle, you'll have to draw another one that fits inside your first circle, and that circle should be about 2/3 of the first one, and you'll split both circles down the middle horizontally, then vertically, and all these things have to be done relatively accurately, otherwise the proportion of the face will be all fucked up. Well, you guys get the point. The Loomis method is undoubtedly god tier, but for beginners especially, it can get a little complicated. However, it's not impossible. So let's say you take your time to practice this method and you've not perfected the Loomis head. All your circles and lines are split perfectly, and the proportions are just as Andrew intended. Yet, chances are your faces still look like shit. And if you go online, you might even run into some memes about how you're not using the Loomis head correctly. But that's not the case. See, the real issue is you're kind of putting the cart before the horse with this one. A face isn't a circle with lines splitting it vertically and horizontally. It's a face with eyes, a nose, a mouth, eyebrows, etc. All these things are individual facial features that should be more or less practiced on their own. Which brings me to my next and last issue with the Loomis head. Throughout many tutorials, YouTube art teachers will say this, but honestly, they might as well whisper it. I feel like no matter what video I watch, it just isn't emphasized enough. And that is the fact that it's just a guideline. It should not be followed exactly, but used to loosely see where the features should be. The fact that creators kind of gloss over this just because it's already been ingrained in the way they practice kind of promotes this logic that the Loomis head is like this big Lego block and the features are just small Lego pieces or stickers to be slapped onto it mindlessly. I think this might even be the cause of this thing called same face syndrome. Again, the facial features should be each drawn and practiced individually. And although I do still practice the Loomis method, I don't actually use it when I'm drawing faces. So then what do I use? How did my face drawings go from looking like this to this in just under a month? Well, honestly, I'd hardly consider this a guideline, and it's not something I came up with. I actually came across this method, air quotes, watching a YouTube video by a creator named Antero Arts. Basically, you just draw a circle, draw a horizontal line to separate the bottom third of the circle, more or less, it doesn't have to be exact. And depending on which way the reference is facing, you'll draw the vertical line in the center or leaning a bit more towards the right or more towards the left. At first, this might be a bit more difficult than just slapping features onto the Loomis head, but I guarantee if you practice this method, you'll have a much better understanding of how to actually draw the facial features. The real trick to this method of drawing the face is to choose one facial feature. It can be anything, but for me, I typically choose the eyes. So once you've drawn the feature in a way that you're happy with, you're going to look at the reference closely and kind of measure out where the rest of the features are, using the first thing you drew as sort of like a guidepost. The best part about thinking of drawing this way is that it translates to not just the face, but anything else you draw. For example, let's say you want to draw a figure. You'd start by drawing the torso and waist, try to get the orientation of those correctly, and then drawing the rest of the body parts will be significantly easier. When it comes to drawing figures, I think that method is actually widely used. I'm not sure why it isn't as popular when it comes to drawing faces. Unfortunately though guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there really is no guideline, art book, or YouTube video that's gonna magically transform the way you draw. All of these video guides and tips are simply ways to help you practice. Any method that makes the most sense to you is the one that's gonna help you improve the most. But at the end of the day, you just have to put the hours in and keep drawing. The Loomis method wasn't making much sense to me, so I decided to experiment and try different things, and I've seen great results. But maybe the Loomis method is working for you. And that's fine. Everyone's art journey is bound to be different, but the one thing that should remain the same is that we should all continue learning. Anyway, if you made it to the end, I hope you guys liked the video. I'm trying really hard to make them as entertaining and informative as possible. So a like and a comment would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.